Shit is fire.
Actually, it looks so cute.
That's right. Hat is fire. I'm a man of many fucking hats.
Yes.
I love hats. Growing up, I needed some hats in my life just to, you get a bad haircut or you don't like the braids. Back in the day, it was like braids was like my thing. I had hair down on my butt cheeks.
Oh my God, I wish I would have met you back then. I'd have been in love with you sooner.
I would have had 5,000 kids.
Yes.
Welcome back, people. Episode 4.
Oh my God.
Hope you guys
Crazy.
enjoyed episode 3. If you did, you're gonna love episode 4.
We're still together.
Thank God. Thank God. So far. So
Yeah,
far. Definitely
true.
the alcohol. We just blame it on the alcohol. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's how we do it. But if you enjoy the content, please smash that like button.
And subscribe.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Please, much appreciated. Episode 4 today. Shit show parenting.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. If you guys haven't been a part of it, you guys have at least seen it on TV, social media, all types of good stuff. But we just want to talk about how sometimes you see things on television and it's all cookies and rainbows. And if you're not parents, we're here to tell you. Wait, don't become parents.
No.
And enjoy your lives until you're about 50 and then have kids.
Yeah. It's really... No, it's actually the best experience ever. But,
Oh, totally.
you know, it's not as glamorous as you see it like on social media or in movies, and for the longest time we only had, the oldest, Jojo.
Correct.
And I felt like I had it together. And I always heard once you have multiple kids, it is a shit show. And I never really understood that or even believed it until we had Calix.
It's
And
crazy.
then
Calix
at
is a
that
crazy
point,
man.
yeah, he's crazy. He has his own personality. But then you're just thrown into this dynamic where you have a toddler and then you have a teenager. How do you balance that out? And
Yeah,
then,
it's crazy.
you know what I mean? Like, you want to cater to both of your kids. You want to cater to your husband's needs. But at the end of the day, you're just too fucking tired.
No, you're
And that's just is what it is. You're tired. You're cranky. You forget what day it is. You forget to pick up your kids from school.
Oh my God. I've never done that.
I have. And
But
I
this one over here
never
has.
thought I was going to be that parent.
That's
Never.
right. Mhm.
But it wasn't until I had my second,
Mhm.
Calix, and I got the text that I thought I would never get. Hey, Mom, where are you? And I'm like, oh, my God.
What do you mean, where am I? Aren't you in school?
Oh, my God. So then
shit.
here I am, just trying to throw everything in the diaper bag.
My
Poor
God.
Calix is like in the middle of a bottle. I'm like, get in here. Let's put you in the car seat. Race to school, like in and out of traffic, like a maniac with a baby in
It's
the
a
back.
fucking ghost town. It's like an episode of The Walking Dead. Just one zombie child.
In the worst image,
waiting.
the image that I never thought I was going to see. Your kid is the last kid out there.
You're like, oh
And he's
shit.
wondering. Like,
And
and
the
you know
teacher's
what?
like, hey man, we was
He's lucky. Yeah. You always have a teacher out there to guilt trip you. Like, here's another Hispanic mom.
Javon, blink twice. If this is a constant thing, please.
But
No,
I
no,
will
it's
say thank God for technology and cell phones, because when we were kids,
Oh,
what
we
did our
had none of that
parents
shit.
do?
shit. We were just stranded. We were just
Yeah.
asked the fuck out. We
It's
were like, hey,
like-
just gotta walk home.
And I didn't even know English.
Get out of here.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So I think this will be interesting because I'll get to see the guy's perspective. I think our family dynamic is a little bit unique anyway because I work and you stay at home. With our youngest, and you pick up like our oldest,
Everything, yeah, it's
and
crazy.
you know what I mean? So it's kind of like you have the mom role and I have like the guy role, which I never
crazy.
thought I would say, but it's just whatever works for your family. That's what
yeah,
it
it's
is.
true.
So,
Yeah, so like I do photography, so like I'm in the works of booming kind of like my own business, just so we can have that luxury where like I can stay home, mind the kids, like I don't it's tough having kids in daycare, with all the crazy shit that you see on social
Mhm.
media nowadays, and you think you trust somebody,
no,
and then years down the line, you're like, wow, like this person watched my kid for 2-3 years, and
absolutely.
then they went crazy and they murdered the kids or they
Mm.
murdered themselves, and unfortunately shit like that happens, and it's absolutely terrifying.
And of course, I'm the one
when
that
you
listens to that and
have-
tells you that.
Correct. And she watches her crying. Was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, do you believe in Russia? Olga Klacheknovich chopped off this baby's head that she
Okay.
babysat for 2 years, and you're like, oh my God, like I'm never going to Russia. And
Yeah.
if I get a babysitter who's Russian, I'm never going to have them watch my kids.
Yeah.
And it's like absolutely terrifying. You know what I mean? So, we just kind of make this dynamic. We try to make it work like as best we can.
Yeah.
But she goes to work extremely early, very, very early, so that, she can be out early and enjoy the earlier days with us. And, I got to make sure the 13-year-old even wakes up, got to make sure his alarm works, and then, I'm still kind of tired and got the baby, got to make sure his diaper's good, make sure, his bottle's good, and you got to wake him up, got to put him in the car seat, and he gets cranky, and I got to drive to the school, and this one's cranky because he's waking up, and then, the 13-year-old got his headphones in, and, like...
It's a shit show.
Yeah, correct. I'm like, hey, like, oh, no, I didn't throw out the trash. You're supposed to throw out the trash last night, but now the trash man came.
And usually I'm getting text updates, and I'm at work, like, what is happening at home?
Like, if there's ever a point in my life that I was like, I'm done. But I love both of them, obviously.
Yeah.
And we just,
it's
just
hard.
gotta make it work. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Then you gotta make sure the 13-year-old gets to school on time. And then when mom comes home, we got the baby who wants to be all over mom. You got 13-year-old wants to tell us about his day.
Yeah, that's a different dynamic for me, because usually when I come in, you know what I mean. Calix hasn't seen me all day, so he wants to be up my ass.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to figure out, like, what are we gonna have for dinner? You know what I mean? Like, that's, part 2. It's kind of like I look at it as wrestling. Like, you tag me in, now I'm in the ring.
Yeah, from there, here you go.
And it's kind of your time to unwind.
You're on from 4:30 to 9.
So you have Calix that wants that mommy time. And then you also have a kid that's a teenager that's been in school all day, and he wants to tell you about his day.
Yeah,
he wants to tell you about the funny things that he's like, our son, I don't know about you guys, but our son is always like showing us, videos that he's seen on his phone, or, the joke. And I don't ever want to take that away from him. So I always struggle with what is the right balance, because I never want my oldest to feel that I'm like neglecting him.
Correct.
And I don't want my youngest to feel like mommy doesn't want to spend time with me.
It's true.
But I also have like a schedule. Like, we have to cook. We have to, like, eat at a certain time. The youngest has to eat by a certain time. The oldest has to do homework. By the time the chaos, the circus is done, I feel like we are so drained. But I'm always trying to, like, I think we're both guilty of this. We're dead tired, but we always end up in bed having conversations and spending time together because we don't want that time to go away.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
100%.
But then by the time that we do go to bed, we're exhausted.
You're like,
we're
fuck, it's 12
sleep-deprived.
o'clock. We got to wake up again at 5 or 6
And we have to do it all over again.
Yeah,
and
like,
I know.
My body aches. I got a fucking headache. Like, I didn't get much sleep. And then, she gets home and I'm like, oh, maybe I could take like a quick 30-minute nap, just kind of reset. And she's like, but I want to take a 30-minute nap too. But then, the baby hasn't taken his nap, and, we don't want to have him running around. The 13-year-old's like, oh, I'm hungry, you know what I mean? And he's like, oh, well, go in the microwave and inside the freezer and you get some pizzas or something. It is like really, really tough.
And for me, I always feel guilty about it. Like, if I don't cook every day or something like that, I feel like I'm a bad mom. You know what I mean?
Correct, yeah.
So, and that's partially because of, like, what you see.
Right. You're like, oh, this beautiful white family over here, they get their meals prepped and all this stuff. And, mom's at home and
and
the
that's not
kitchen's
reality.
clean. And you're like, yeah, no, that's
And to be honest with you, I don't even know how women do it when they get off. Like, I get off early from work. Some people don't get off until 5:36. How do you do that? And I worked with this one girl that had I think 4 or 5 kids. I don't remember exactly.
God.
But she had her kids.
Close your legs, woman. Close your legs.
Hey, it's a beautiful thing. I was one of the women that wanted 4 kids. It didn't happen. You know what I mean? We struggled. But I love my boys. Thank God that we were able to have 2. But they have after school activities that they have to do. So how do you balance that? You know what I mean? Like,
tough.
how are you sane? Because for a while I was like, I'm gonna drink a bottle of wine every fucking day.
This fucking thing.
And then we have like this ongoing joke where we're like, if there was ever a day that you're gonna be a single parent of 2, it is today.
The fucking day. Correct. Like I remember one day, I just I forgot what I was gonna do. I don't know. But I like had to go out, And, I pack the baby's bag, make sure he has medicine, make sure he has his diapers, make sure he has his wipes, make sure he has food, make sure he has milk, make sure he has juice. Calix is he's very animated. He's always super high level, like crazy, crazy hyper. But then he has moments where he just wants to sit down and chill and just kind of be loving. Most of the time, he's a fucking riot.
He's all
And you're
over the
like,
place.
oh my God, this kid just doesn't fucking slow down. So, I got his backpack. We're like ready to go. I changed his diaper. I was like, sweet, we're going to go. He just woke up from his nap. We're ready to go. Grab everything and go to put him inside the car. I put him down inside the car. I strap him in. I was like, oh man, what's that smell? I was like, oh, maybe he farted. Remind you, I just changed his diaper before putting him into the car, right? And there was no poop, just a nice long pee. And I put him inside the car seat. I get the car, turn the car on, boom. I'm like, oh, it fucking smells like. Let me just double check, make sure it's like not poop. I check his diaper. It's like a fresh batch of just baby shit, and it's just like horrible. And like, oh my God, like I'm already running 5 minutes fucking late. I got to take him out, right? I just leave the car on. I was like, fuck it. Got the garage open. I'm like, fuck, someone walks into my garage and they're gonna steal all my shit. I bring him back inside. I fucking change his diaper. Got to wrap the diaper up inside of a bag. I'm not gonna leave it inside the trash can inside the house. So the whole house is gonna smell like baby shit. You know what I'm saying? But then I put him down. He runs around. He runs to the living room. He doesn't want to come back to me to get back inside the car because he wants to go play with his toys. So and then you're just like, I don't even want to go out anymore. Maybe I should just unpack the car and just stay in the fucking house and just not do it. But those are just things that, becoming a new parent, I knew of situations like that. Like my mom raised me. She was a single mom. My mom was up at 4:30, 5 o'clock every day. We were on the road between 5:30 and 5:45. Made it, to, public transportation. She would take me to school, make sure that I get to school like around 7:30, 7:45. And she had to be work at 8:30. So then she would take public transportation again, hop back on and take another, 30, 40 minute, ride to her job, make sure that she's good. So now she's rushing, right? And she put me in like after school. My mom would leave work, 5:30 in, rush hour traffic because everyone's getting out of work at that time.
Yeah.
She'd pick me up by 5:45, sometimes even 6 o'clock. It's dark, like I'm in after school. I'm like one of the last kids, because it's so late, and we lived, like at least an hour and a half, 2 hours from where I went to school using public transportation. And then we would get home by, 7 o'clock, 7:30 sometimes. And if there was a delay, which, sometimes that would happen, you're not getting home till 7:45, 8, and then she's like, fuck, I gotta cook. I gotta make sure my son did his homework. I gotta make sure he takes a bath.
Yeah.
I gotta take a bath. I still want to unwind, and then before you know it, you're like, man, it's like 9, 10, 11, 12 o'clock. And you're like, fuck, like I gotta do this again in fucking 4, 5, 6 hours. And, and that's why I say like my mom is like a superhero because, she was able to pull that off. And I was like, man, I don't know how you did it, Mom. And now that I'm a parent, she's like, now you see how I was able to do it. And I was like, I totally see how you were able to do it because you just fucking have to do it. Like,
you never realize that. Like, it's funny that you brought up your mom. For the longest time, I never realized the struggle that my mom had either. My mom never drove. She had, my mom had an accident where a car ran over her. Actually, she was crossing the street. She was pregnant at the time. And that, I guess, scared her to like never be behind the wheel.
Absolutely.
And I kind of vividly remember when we were young and we had to cross the street. I know that like it was like an inner fear of hers.
Constant fear all the time.
But I remember as a kid, we had to be out the door by 5 in the morning. So she would wake up super, super early. My mom has always had jobs where she worked super, super early. And, as a kid, you don't really think about that. Me and my brother would just go to school, come, to a babysitter after or whatever. Right. But that wasn't like the end of the day. Like my parents, my mom would come get us, take us home. And then she still had to cook for like that day, the next day. There was times that my mom would wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to cook for that night.
It's crazy.
For us. Because, she depended on my dad driving her, back and forth. So then my brother, since he's older,
he had tamales and pupusas at 3 a.m. in Cali. That's what I'm talking about.
Proud of you. Salvadorian, by the way. And then, you know, my brother had to kind of take...
Mexican.
No, I'm not Mexican.
Okay, she's not Mexican.
Take care of me while, you know, my parents worked or whatever. But, you know, it's funny that you say that, because when I had Calyx and I was trying to figure out, like, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? I'm going to cook. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. One day I kind of remember being in the kitchen and saying, like, damn, like, this is what my mom went through when she had both of us.
Right. It's just no joke.
know, and it's a lot. It is a lot.
It's true.
And then you want to live up to those expectations too. Like for me, I never wanted to complain or anything like that, because I always felt like I had it so much easier than my mom. And then we tried so hard to have Calyx anyway.
Yeah.
That by the time I'm like, everything about it is great, but it's not always great.
Yeah, you're like, listen, I'm getting old.
You know, I remember that story
I'm
when, like, for Christmas, we wanted to go to that mall to see the tree lighting. And then we got everything, went all the way to this mall. It was kind of far from where we live or whatever, because they have like a show.
Yeah. And
they throw like snow and stuff like that. And we get Calyx out of the car, and I'm like, maybe I should change his diaper, but I don't know where the where the restroom is. But and then, you know, Justin's like, just do it in the stroller, like we can.
Yeah, like that's how we do it.
We can lay it
throw the full
down.
bag,
you know.
Do it.
So as I'm taking his diaper off, he pisses everywhere.
It's my boy. It's my boy.
At this point, I'm like freaking out, like just about to have a meltdown, because the teenager is like embarrassed. And he has his like earphones, you know, like Javon's like a teenager now, so he's not really present all the time. But he's like looking at us like,
he is a teenager. He's not like he's 13.
Yeah, well, he's a teenager. He's looking
real.
at us like, oh my god, how embarrassing. So
like,
then I'm kind of like,
oh shit, I want to go home and play Fortnite.
And then I always go to like, see, this is why I don't like to go out, because these things happen. And then Justin has that approach, like, don't worry about it, like, it's fine. I'm like, no, it's cold. He's all wet. Thank God that we had an extra pair of clothes.
Always got spare clothes.
But like, I was at the verge of tears, because it was such a shit show. And then people are walking past our car so they can see what's happening.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God.
It was a fucking circus act. Like,
it was,
I'm not gonna lie, it was
like, if we ever looked dysfunctional as a family,
solid
that was
colors.
the day.
Next time we're wearing solid colors.
That was the day. Like, that I questioned everything.
I know, like, I was like, listen, I didn't just drive 45 minutes for us to fucking change his diaper and then drive 45 minutes fucking back home.
He's like yelling at me, telling me this. So people are passing by like, oh my God, what's happening?
Oh my
and then
God,
Javon's like slowly walking away. Like,
yeah,
so
like,
that it doesn't look like he's part of the family. Now I'm just like,
but it doesn't look like he's part of the family. Like, we're all Spanish, and, you know, he's like half white. So you're like, oh, who's this random white baby right here?
So, like, I understand those struggles. Like, half the time we're like, you know, I'm trying to plan things as a family, you know, to include JoJo.
Of course.
You know, like, hey, like, we got to do this.
Sorry.
Or we're going to go out to eat. And I always think about Calyx, because he's so hyper. He cries all the time. So I'm like, is this going to be a good idea? So I get, like, anxiety.
Don't think that our kid is like this fucking devil.
No, he's not
at all.
I'm very sensitive to like the little smallest things. Like, he has like a little tantrum, and I'm like, oh my God.
See, this is why I want to take him out, because he acts like this. And I was like, yo, like, just give him like some crayons or some shit, or like pull out his tablet. You know, he'll sit down and he'll be good for like 10, 15 minutes. You know what I mean? You know, but he's just at the age where he's like very curious about everything. So if we go out to eat, he's like, oh, like, I want to play with this fork. I want to play with this knife. I want to grab the napkin. I want to grab the plate. I want to grab the cup.
We're almost in those twos. The terrible twos.
You know,
I didn't really have that with Javon, but like Calyx is totally different. And I have to keep reminding myself that he is not Javon. He's going to have different traits than Javon had. But
correct.
A lot of them are like, holy shit, like, are you really my kid?
Now, growing up as a kid, I mean, I was a fucking bad kid.
So it's your fault.
I was a fucking asshole. And, like, I remember me being like an asshole. And I mean, it is what it is.
I never was.
But
like
I was
that.
a fantastic teenager. You know, like, I didn't do drugs. You know, and then even when I was in school, even though I was a horrible kid, I was a bad kid till about like 5 or 6, and then I just kind of grew out of it. And then I just like really, really like calmed down, and I wasn't like a bad kid. You know, so when I like started going to school, you know, I was straight A student, and you know, just kind of rolled that out, and never caused trouble for my mom at the time that I was in school moving forward. But as a kid, when I was home and my grandma would babysit me, and she, oh my God, I was an asshole. I would curse her out. You're not my mommy.
See.
I called my grandma a bitch a couple times. I was like 4 years
Oh
old.
my
You know,
God.
my grandma would hit me, and I'd be like, "Don't hit me," and like I would kick her. Like I was a real motherfucker. Like it is horrible. And
I could not. No, I grew up in such a strict
and my
household,
mom.
but I was such a good kid though. Like
Mm.
I was the opposite of that. As a little kid, I was quiet, timid.
Yeah, it was,
You could take me anywhere. I wasn't gonna touch anything. I was just gonna, be by my
it's
lonesome
a damn dream
self.
kid, Dora the Explorer over here.
I didn't cause any trouble as a kid. Now I got to be a teenager and all hell broke loose.
And the tables have turned, people.
I was so bad as a teenager.
Teen mom
Horrible.
over here. No, she wasn't teen mom, but
My mom used to say this, and I kind of remember it now, because I got kind of mouthy with her when I was a teenager.
Get the backhand.
And she used to tell me in Spanish that I was gonna.
Yeah, voy a dar.
No, she used to say that I was gonna cry tears of blood when I became a mom, and because of what I put her through.
As a teen. Mm-hmm.
Which I was really fortunate with Javon, because Javon has been an exceptional kid.
Yeah.
Like I've held
He's a
my
great kid.
breath for a very long time,
He's a
but
great kid.
I don't know. Maybe
He has his moments where you get a little pet peeves kind of get in the way, but
yeah, but
overall,
no, he's
man,
a good
like
kid.
he doesn't cause trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
Calix is a good kid too. It's
at
just
all.
that he has so much energy, and I don't know if it's because I'm getting older that I don't have the same amount of energy. But I feel like those two energies are very different. Javon was like mellow.
Oh, it's
like,
easy street probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like he had his moments, but with
Mhm.
Javon, I could just, tell him like, "Hey, like you're about to get papao," and he would stop.
Yo,
Calix doesn't care.
I'm gonna beat your ass.
Calix does not.
He loves it. He's spanking me. He's like,
He actually enjoys it. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
It's fucking weird. It's weird. Like you spank him and like he'll cry, then he'll stop, and you're like, yeah.
I think with Calix it's gonna be more of like I don't know. We're
we're
gonna
gonna
have
have to take shit away from him. Like physical discipline does not face that
No.
kid. No. So we beat our kids, but we do. Spank his hands. No.
No, I
blah,
believe
blah,
that you
blah.
can give like your kid a
Well,
good
you know
spanking,
what I
like
mean?
not like beating your kid, but
Right.
I do believe that there has to be some kind of discipline. I see so many kids out there that don't get any kind of discipline at all.
Speaking of shit show parenting, we see the nice people in Target. Listen here, Scotty.
Oh my
Don't
God.
you do that, okay? Stop that, or we're gonna go back inside of the vehicle right now.
And
you're
I'm
like,
there's been times
fuck
with
that little
Javon.
boy up. Little Scotty tried me like that.
I mean, there was times with Javon that I had to kind of like tell him like, "Hey, like you disappointed me," and that I knew. Yes, he was very emotional in that sense, but like never. If he acted up, oh no, I wasn't gonna deal with that.
Give him the look, like you want to try mommy?
The
right now?
look. My mom had that look.
You wanna try
My mom
mommy right
still has that look. Your brother commented on that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, your mom's very, very stern looking.
Yes, my mom is a very stern character. She wasn't gonna pull
But
up
she's
with
so
Nona.
small. She's like 4'9". She's like cute little munchkin size.
And very intimidating.
But she looks at you and you're like,
yes.
what did I do? Like it's like she looks deep in your soul and she's like, I know when you were 16, you
Yes.
called your mom a bitch. And I hate you for that. And you're like, I'm so sorry.
My
like, let me
brother
call
is
my
a
mom right now.
grown man, and he's still like we have this respect for her.
She got the look.
Yeah, I can only hope that I can. Maybe not be that way. I'm very different.
You can pull up the look.
I probably can, but I
You
never
can.
wanted to be that way with my kids.
Not with me, but with the kids, yeah, sure. I laugh in the face of danger.
Yeah. Go ahead, be brave for this podcast.
Guys, I'm still a little sick from the last podcast and stuff too, but I'm still recovering, so it's all good.
Okay.
It's fine. Listen, I mean, shit show parent, and like it happens to us every day too. We went to the park the other day and had this beautiful spread. Put the blanket out on the green grass and had the food out and the fruit, and it was like a little picnic. We're trying to feed the baby, and Calix is like, I just want he loves to be outside in nature. So we go outside, and he's like, I just want to run and be free. Like you take him outside, and he's like,
yeah, like he
he's
doesn't
like a
even
fucking
look where
puppy.
he's running.
He doesn't like. He just wants
bolts.
to run. He looks at everything. He loves nature. He loves the grass. Like, oh, let me play with the grass. Let me grab the flowers. Yeah, and they were like, all right, like it's time to eat. And you sit him down. And he's like, I just want to keep running. And he just runs and 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 runs.
Calix is gonna be
like,
that
oh my
kid
God, please.
when he gets older. We have to have him in sports to kind of,
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? Kind
Yeah, he's
of.
gonna have to do like karate, soccer,
He
basketball,
definitely has a lot of
football.
energy. Not that Javon didn't have that energy, but Javon also has asthma. So we couldn't put him in a lot of things that we wanted to. But, he listened.
Yeah, so true. It's true.
But
Put
yeah.
him in robotics. It's
I'm telling you right now,
build a computer.
like, I hate to be this parent and I hate to admit this, but like whenever we're gonna go somewhere with Calix, I hold my breath. I'm
You're
like,
fuck,
it's gonna happen.
Yeah, like we're gonna go out to eat dinner probably tomorrow night, and she's like, "Oh, it's gonna be so great." And then, like 5 minutes passed by, and I was like, "Hey, like, do you think it's a good idea to?"
And like, I legit get worried.
To
like,
bring Calix, like, I was like, should I like see what time my mom gets out of work and maybe she can watch it?
Maybe like it would be nice. Like, I'm telling you, I've never been so scared in my life.
Baby, you want to stay with grandma? You want to stay with grandma, baby?
Because like, oh my God. So I typically go to my parents' house once a week. I think I've set that goal for myself. I don't want to, my parents are a little bit older, so I never want to have too much time, for them not to see the kids or whatever. Of course. Every time that I go to my mom's house, I say a prayer because I'm like, please, like, I hope Caleb doesn't break anything, like act right.
Not with that stare. She'll look at him like.
No, but it's funny because grandparents, like, the things that my mom used to beat me for when I was little,
oh yeah,
she would never do it. Like, she tells me like, oh, stop, leave him alone. And I'm like,
you're like, Mom, I did the same shit.
You just threw the trash everywhere, like
30 years ago, and I got fucked up.
It's funny how grandparents are different than when my mom
told me the same thing when I went to her house like last week. Like I squatted and, I gave Calix, just like a hug just because he's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, man, like, she was like, she was like, now do you understand like a parent's love? And I was like, man, like I totally get it. And then she was like, grandparents' love is real different. She was like, he'll never do any harm in my eyes. And he like fucking took her DVDs out. And I was like, Calix, don't do that. And she's like, no. It's fine. And I was like, excuse me? Like, no. It's just because then he's going to come here and be like, oh, it's okay for me to take DVDs out because I do it in grandma's house. But she's like, no. It's fine. Okay. And then I was like, when I did that, when I was fucking, back in the day when it was VHS fucking tapes. Like,
the real what I mean? Hard one.
Yeah, like seriously. It was like, you little motherfucker.
But I think like
touch your ass.
It's funny, like, that she said that, and I think it's just one of those things that you won't really know until you're there.
I'm a grandparent, yeah. I'm like,
because I used to tell you that all the time, even though I know that you've considered Jamon your son.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? I always used to tell you because you used to kind of make fun of me on my parenting, and I'm kind of like what they call a helicopter mom. Like I worry all the time. Oh, yeah. I made a promise when I became a mom that nothing was going to happen under my watch. And, just knock on wood, nothing has happened since they've been, under my care. Sure. But I always used to tell you, you'll never know how I feel until you become a parent. And I'll never forget this. Like we had just really had Calix and, I've always observed, JP because I always wanted to have kids with him and just, it was hard for me to get pregnant and stuff like that. And it took many years, many things.
I got good sperm.
Actually, you don't because it took forever to get pregnant. But
I need that one strong little.
But I would always like once we got to that goal and we had our son, I would sometimes just observe him and see how he was with our son. And then one day I told him like, now do you understand what I used to tell you?
Oh, yeah,
and then I'll never forget this. He kind of looked at me and he was like, now I completely understand what you were saying.
It's true.
So it's
guys,
true.
I mean, we have about 20 seconds left until just going to wrap this up. But, you never understand. If you are parents, want to become parents, and if you're scared, just know that regardless you're going to find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
And everything's going to be okay. But it's an experience that I would never change for the world. So thank you for listening. Smash that like button.
Subscribe.
Absolutely. You guys take it easy. We're out of here. We got like 3 seconds left. We keep these podcasts short. Bye.
Bye.